Here's a look at a recap of your markets on this Monday, the 22nd day of September. Livestock futures shot higher today, being pulled mostly by the cattle. Late last night on Sunday evening, confirmation of a case of new World Screwworm only 70 miles south of the Mexican border now. Kind of had people thinking markets would go one of two ways today. When the dust settled, it seemed like the markets did shoot higher, even though there was no official word. Most of the industry did feel like that assured that Mexican border is likely going to stay closed for quite some time now, continuing to make cattle supplies very tight. Grain markets, on the other hand, they took a big dip today, pulled down mostly by soybeans due to the fact there has still been absolutely zero interest from China in importing any of our American beans so far. Before we get into looking at those markets, it is Monday, so we'll take a look at the Missouri Crop Progress Report. 5.8 days suitable for field work for the week ending September 21st. Topsoil moisture supply rate at 21% very short, 47% short, 32% adequate, and 0% surplus. Subsoil moisture supply was rated at 18% very short, 42% short, 40% adequate, and 0% surplus. Corn dented is now at 96%. That's right even with the 5-year average of 97%. Corn matures at 82%. That compares to the 5-year average of 75%. Corn harvest now moved up to 28% complete, slightly ahead of the 5-year average of 22%. Corn condition rate at 2% very poor, 5% poor, 19% fair, 52% good, and 22% excellent. Soybeans dropping leaves is now at 50%. That's about 10% ahead of the 5-year average of 40%. Soybeans harvested at 7%, which compares to the 5-year average of 3% at this time. Soybean condition was rated 2% very poor, 9% poor, 30% fair, 54% good, and 5% excellent. Pasture conditions, 11% very poor, 24% poor, 34% fair, and 29% good. That leaves 2% in the excellent category. Taking a look at the cattle auctions around the state today, Callaway Livestock Center is expecting about 2,200 head. A stick-out sale from there that we seen early in the day was 37 head of 509-pound steers that sold at $485. China Livestock Auction, they were expecting to have about 1,300 head. A few stick-out sales noted there today included 20 head of 541-pound steers at $459, 21 head of 615-pound steers at $443.50, and then a full load of 726-pound steers at an even $4. A full load of 661-pound heifers in China sold at $387. Joplin Regional Stockyards, the market was awful good there today. They're still going strong. Started off this morning expecting about 7,500 head, but that stronger market pulled in a few more cattle, and they've upped that number to about 9,000 head today. Mid-session through the market, steers selling $5 to $20 higher, heifers steady to $10 higher. The feeder steers in Joplin, medium and large ones, 4 to 500 pounds, 430 to 510, 5 to 6 weights at 410 to 448, 6 to 7 weights at 375 to 440, 7 to 8 weights at 369 to 403, 8 to 9 weight steers in Joplin, 347 to 371, and 900 to 1,000 pound steers at 327 to 360.50. The feeder heifers 4 to 500 pounds, 385 to 450, 5 to 6 weights at 367 to 410, 6 to 7 weights at 340 to 387, 7 to 8 weights at 332 to 373, 8 to 9 weights at 323 to 336. Box beef cutout values, choice down 66 cents today, 381.39. Select up 217 at 362.09. Those values based on 108 loads of cuts, trimmings, and grinds. The Choice Select spread at $19.30. Nothing reported so far this week really on negotiated feedlot trade, just a small handful. Last week we had 56,656 head. The weighted average price on the live sales, $237.51, down $1.99. Dress sales down $5.38 at $370.95. Taking a look at those closing futures markets on the Mercantile Exchange, live cattle for October, $237.15 up $3.57. December up $4.50 at $240.22, and February $242.35 up $4.90. September feeder cattle up $3.57 at $362.72. October at $361.35 up $7.25. November feeders up $8.97, closing the day at $359.90. Lean hogs for October 82 cents higher, $98.80. December up $1.12, $88.75. February $90.70 up 90 cents. Turning our attention to those grain markets now at the elevators around the state on Monday. Corn was stayed at 2 lower, beans 14 to 20 lower, and wheat 11 lower. Corn bids at the elevators in St. Louis, 414 to 416, Kansas City at 401. Soybean bids, St. Louis 977 to 983, Kansas City 926. Wheat bids in St. Louis 450 to 460. On the Board of Trade, corn for December 2 1/4 lower, 421 3/4. March down 2 1/2, 438 3/4. May down 2 1/2 at 448 1/2. November soybeans 1011 down 14 1/2. January at 1030 1/2 down 14 1/4. March at 1047 down 13 3/4. Wheat contracts, December down 11 3/4, 510 3/4. March at 529 1/2 down 11 1/4. May at 541 3/4 down 10 3/4. Soybean meal for October 278.90 a ton. That's down an even $4. Soybean oil for October 49.17 a hundredweight, down 86 cents. With the Missouri Department of Agriculture, that's a recap of your markets for Monday. This is Tony Hancock.